Everybody, welcome to ATS Labs Demo Day 2021. All right, Sydney, do you want to do the honors? Hey, so what you just watched was a very quick video showing off our startups. It said, welcome to ATS Labs Demo Day 2021, and that there will be 8 startups pitching for $7,500 in prize money. Before we begin, quick housekeeping. If you need live captions, if you look at the bottom of a screen, there should be a button called Live Transcript. If you click on that, you will see a button to show subtitles. You can click on that and live transcriptions will be available. If you need any assistance during any point during this session, please feel free to message us in the chat, or you can email marketing@accesstosuccess.ca. My name is Varun Chandak, and I am the founder and president of the Access to Success organization, which is the Toronto-based not-for-profit that manages and runs ATS Labs, which, as you know, is Canada's first accelerator for accessibility, mental health, and agent tech startups. We started this program. Our roots actually go back to 2016 when my team and we started Access to Success as a small student club when we were MBA students at the University of Toronto. Since then, we have grown, and now we are not-for-profit that supports the development of future leaders with disabilities and assistive technology. That latter part, supporting the development of assistive technology, is where ATS Labs comes in. How did all this come around? Well, in 2019, we did a pilot project, a 5-day bootcamp for accessibility startups, which was intended to validate if people actually do need this. Turned out people did need this, people did want it. And since then, we did a lot of research. That research showed that there are more than 100 accessibility startups that are already currently active in Canada. There is a lot happening in this space, and 2 out of these 3 startups are in Ontario. We did more. We found that 52% of these startups are creating software products for people with disabilities. 39% have hardware products, while 9% have hybrid products, which include advanced hardware tech with underlying AI models. We found that 70% of these startups are creating products for people with disabilities and 30% for people with mental disabilities. But the bottom line here, the thing to remember here, is that there's more happening in commercial innovation and accessibility in Canada than perhaps most people realize. Now, what did we do with all of this research? Well, as you know, we did ATS Labs, the 3-month cohort in 2021. This cohort, over the last 3 months, and by this cohort, I mean most of the people you see on the screen right now, over the last 3 months, they attended 45 sessions from 50 speakers from 7 countries. They had access to a ton of resources, a ton of mentors, a ton of variety of resources. But the point is, all of this was coming together to create a global ecosystem of support that is designed specifically with accessibility startups in mind. Now, I want to take a moment to thank our sponsors without whom this entire program would not have been possible. First and foremost, Sydney, shall we go to the next slide? Let's show off our sponsors. First and foremost, I would like to thank CIBC, our biggest and oldest sponsor of ATS Labs, who has been instrumental in helping us make this happen. I would also like to thank Dentons, Magna, and Fix Software, who also provided us with a lot of support and sponsorship to allow us to make this program happen. Thank you to all of these sponsors. All right, now I'm thrilled to share a message from one of the biggest champions of accessibility here in Canada and in Ontario. He's the Honorable Raymond Cho, Minister of Seniors and Accessibility for Ontario. Here's Minister Cho.
That's not him.
Hello, everyone. I'm Raymond Cho, Ontario's Minister for Seniors and Accessibility. Welcome to ATS Labs Demo Day 2021. Congratulations, Varun, for bringing this together. To see so many of you that are so passionate about accessibility is inspiring. As you know, being accessible is about more than just ramps and washroom grab bars. Accessibility is about enabling every person in our province an equal opportunity to live the Ontario dream. Government cannot champion this alone. We need your ideas, your solution, and your passion. You are all great examples of what it means to be a leader in accessibility. I look forward to our roundtable next week. Good luck to all those startups participating in today's event. Thank you.
I want to thank Minister Cho for those kind remarks. Thank you so much for that wonderful message. Now, as for today's guest speaker, I'm proud to welcome a friend and mentor, someone I've looked up to while building ATS Labs. Please welcome Prateek Madhur, founder and CEO of Assistive Foundation, which runs India's first assistive technology accelerator. In just a few short years, ATF has blitzscaled over 20 accessibility startups with 50 products to benefit the lives of more than 200,000 people with disabilities. And by the way, folks, if you have any questions for Prateek, please send them in the chat and I will try my best to ask some of those questions. Prateek, thank you so much for joining us today. Why don't we begin by learning a little bit more about you and ATF?
Well, thank you, Varun. First of all, congratulations to you and ATS Labs. The work which you're doing is truly phenomenal. I've read through, some of the startups which you are, mentoring, and it's truly inspiring the area they've chosen. So many congratulations to all of you as a part of the team, and also all the startups for making it to the cohort. I'm sure more to come. So thank you so much. So I run a accelerator or a foundation based out of India called ATF, Assistive Foundation. We founded ATF to support the entrepreneurs, innovation, new thinking in the field of assistive technology to help people with disabilities. Over the last 3 to 3.5 years, like Varun said, we've been able to make a very large network and an ecosystem of people around startups, who are helping them grow. Just for the numbers, in fact, Varun, I was sharing with Varun, a few days back that we now have set up a large mission to impact 3.4 million people with disabilities in India in next 3 years through all our initiatives. So I'm very excited to share this vision with you. Probably this is the first time I'm sharing it with, as a part of our strategic planning. We just finalized this mission and I'm really happy to share. And I want, and all of you, I welcome all of you to be a part of this big grand vision. But thank you so much, Varun, again for inviting.
That's great. I'm glad this timing worked out so well. So Prateek, tell us a little bit about what was the catalyst, what was the need, the catalyst for starting ATF? We know the value of disability innovation, accessibility innovation, but how did ATF itself come into being and why?
Varun, disability is a large problem, and that's something all of us know. But my realization when I looked at this innovation space in assistive technology is that, and more so in disability, is that we were using very old approaches to solve the problem of people with disabilities. Now, as in, we have always seen disability as charity. We've always taken a lens of pity. But let me tell you, assistive technology, is a phenomenal tool to help people with disability to better educate, better get employed, and obviously live life very independently. But I saw a fragmentation, not only in India, but across the world as well, where some of these innovators, startups who were doing good work were not able to scale. Now, in countries like India, we have a fantastic startup ecosystem for, which where the incubation happens okay, but where we were failing as an ecosystem was to scale these companies. Now, 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 users are fine. How are we going to scale these solutions to cater to 100,000 people or a million people or 10 million people? Yeah. So I think that's where I saw the need. I also started, to realize that while we use technology for a greater, benefit of the society, the way we bank today is so different. If you and I think of doing any shopping, we just take our mobile and go to Amazon. But when we think of technology helping us in everyday life and making it so efficient and exciting, why we leave a section of the society which can be the contributing citizen? I want all people with disability to be contributing citizen and taxpayers of the nation. That's how I see them, contributing, to the nation building. And hence, we said we will build this ecosystem in India and outside. In fact, I'm so glad that it's just not in India with initiatives like yourself, ATS Labs. We are now built a global alliance called Plus N, which I'm sure we're going to talk about it as well.
Thank you. That's great to hear. And yes, it's fantastic to be in the same group as Plus N as with you. So over the years now, since you launched ATF, how has it grown? Can you tell us a little bit about the scale, the impact of this accelerator in India?
Sure. In fact, we are more than an accelerator now, Varun. Accelerator is one of the programs we run. We also have launched India's first assistive technology awards. We also run vaccination programs for people with disability, to help them vaccinate on priority. We also are building a digital platform. But over the years, I think the success is not just launching new initiative and trying to create an impact. The success is to build that ecosystem. Now, for a startup to be successful, we need 5 or 6 stakeholders, in and around the startup, and especially in assistive technology, disability, you need those stakeholders, more so. Imagine startup, in the middle and a hexagon around it. I think our success is not just being able to impact 400,000 people, set up this mission, but also create that excitement in the system where we now work with government, both federal and the state government. We work with corporates, where it's not only the corporate social responsibility, but the venture side of it, the technology mentor side of it as well. We have been able to excite and educate and create awareness among the investor community to invest in startups, whom we are mentoring. Educational institutions, they can be a great contributor to all the research and innovation work that's happening. And I think they play a critical role. So we've been able to engage them to, number one, get their innovation in the market, because otherwise they would keep on researching and wouldn't release these products in the market. But also, partner with them to do greater research in assistive technology. And last but not the least, the community of people with disabilities, involve them in co-creating these products, because at the end of the day, it's them and the community who have to, who has to use it, and what best it is, to really involve them early in the process, and have them co-create these solutions. So I think that has been a big success. There's a lot of excitement, Varun. I must tell you, while we all keep talking about so many people with disabilities, they actually yeah, in the world, people with disability represent US 8 trillion disposable income, and it must excite a lot of innovators and startups who are present today as well, right? Together, people with disability represent third largest economic power world above Japan, Germany, and United Kingdom. Yeah, that's another point of view, or the way to look at it, right? In India, we are saying economic cost of leaving people with disability out of the economy is 5 to 7% of GDP, and that's huge sum of money, right? And if we turn around and talk a more opportunity as language than really a problem language, we suddenly see there is co-creation happening. There's more collaboration happening, and there is more opportunity for startups like today's to grow and find the market not only in Canada but outside Canada as well.
Thank you. That's great to hear about the story there, the details there. So you mentioned partnerships and growing here with partners. Can you talk a little bit about? I'm sure this entire success has obviously not been in a silo. So who do you partner with, and what makes these partnerships happen? How are you creating this entire movement in India with so many organizations?
Well, thanks for asking this question, and I'll probably mention few. See, government is a important stakeholders in disability and assistive technology, right? What we realized early on is while government have phenomenal policies, they have a lot of schemes and programs for people with disabilities. Their understanding of technology, their understanding of startups were very, very low. Yeah. And what we have done in India is we have partnered with the local state government and obviously the central government as well. But one of our programs was to really create that awareness and education to the startup missions of those governments, and to partner with not only the startup missions but also the disability departments. The way Indian states are structured, there is a commissioner of disability in each state. Yeah, and he's the most important stakeholder. So we partner with the disability commissioner in the department plus the startup mission, and we are able to bridge that map where we are able to bring a lot of innovations, a lot of startups, to and introduce them, and hence they see a newer point of view, to solve the problems of the people with disability. So that's one, and I think that has a phenomenal, opportunity to not only do it in one state but just replicate the model. So now ATF has built a playbook which can just be implemented in different states, and there are so many states, obviously in India and in Canada as well, right? And so that has been the success, from a partnership perspective. Corporates play an important role, Varun. And I'm sure all of us realize that the value in corporate is not just the CSR money or the funding. In fact, India is only one of those few countries in the world which has mandated 2% of average profit, has to be contributed to the corporate social responsibility, right? So there's a immense amount of money that is being available, which is available for funding for disability causes or any other social causes. Now, but that's not how we see, corporate as. Corporate also means there are a lot of business leaders who can come and share the experience. I mean, you were talking about 45 leaders from the industry talking to all these startups, during your acceleration program, and that's just phenomenal, right? And they can, I'm sure, in years to come, there'll be 10x, 450 people who are going to come to this, to ATS Labs and going to share their experience. And how valuable is that, isn't it? So that's second. Third, most of the corporates have the venture side, right? If you see Microsoft, if you see Google, Accenture has a venture side, and I think today we are not talking about disability and assistive technology innovation as a social cause only, right? It's so well integrated in the business, and hence, if we are able to talk to right people in the organization, there is a lot of value in bringing them and making them aware about the startups whom we are mentoring. So that's another aspect which I think. So I think I mean these are few examples, and there are more, but hopefully I was able to give you few instances of where we are able to do these partnerships to help the ecosystem.
I have to say, a commissioner for disability in each state, and that giving you the chance to replicate the model in each state in a country as big as India. I love the innovation. I love that. That's brilliant. So you mentioned the venture side on the corporate side at the end there. So what about the investor side? What's happening in terms of investments in assistive technology in India? Are you seeing a lot of investor interest, maybe from angels, from venture capitalists? And have you seen, hopefully, maybe an uptick in investor interest since ATS started?
So, I mean, if you would have asked this question to me like a few years back, I probably would have made a sad face. But you see a happy face not just because that we are fully ready as a market. There are a lot of asks from the investor. It's not. I mean, we haven't reached. I think it's work in progress, Varun, and I think organization like yourself, initiatives like Plusen are only going to improve the awareness and education. Now, uh, like earlier I was saying, we got to see this market as an investable market. And I think for all the startups, while we do quote about the number of people with disability and the market size and, customer segments you are trying to, cater to, we also need to understand and educate some of these investors that globally we are looking at some 30 to $35 billion market of global, disability and elderly care, right? There's a report which I'm sure all of us have access to that the return on investment on assistive technology is 9:1. Obviously, it takes longer to get that return, but nonetheless, I think it's a great return, right? I think the awareness is increasing. It's our responsibility again. I mean, to really create that awareness and education. But today, to answer your question, just and to summarize, I'm very excited about the conversations I'm having. Yeah, I'm very excited about the people who are getting involved, not just in India, but globally as well, right? So I think if this is your first cohort, but I'm sure in next few cohort, you will see more and more people approaching and asking you. So the pulls will start happening, Varun, and that's what I feel very excited about.
I'm excited for that to happen. I have to say, you said the return on this sector is 9:1.
Yeah.
Is that ROI? Can you expand on that a little bit? What is that now? Where is that 9:1 coming from?
So there is a report by AT Scale, which I can share the link as well. And I think every startup or every conversation has to refer to that because here we are not only just talking about the financial return of 1:9, 9:1. We're also talking about so it's just not business. It's also about the social impact, right? It's a dual metrics we are talking about. And obviously, when we in India, for example, we say when we impact one person with disability, it has a multiplier effect of five. So we impact, five more people of his or her family as well, right? So there is an immense amount of impact, which gets created if you enable a person, with assistive technology to better educate, better get employed, and things like that, right? I am happy to share that report, which is available on the internet as well. But I think it's a must read to give a very different perspective or yeah, especially to startups and all the investor community, and that how exciting this field is. It is.
Thank you. I want to take a quick pause here for everyone who joined recently. If you like, you can turn on live captions using the live transcript button at the bottom. If you click that, you'll see a button to show subtitles. Also, please feel free to send in questions for Prateek in the chat. And if there's time, I will do my best to ask those questions. So, Prateek, what do you see as the future of assistive technology? What trends are you seeing over the next 5, 7, 10 years? And where does your vision for Assistive Foundation fit in those trends?
Well, thank you so much, Varun. When we recently, like I said, been doing a strategic planning exercise at ATF, and we are very excited about the prospects of the innovators and the startups. We are a large country, yeah, right? In India, we are talking about 70 to 80 million people with disability ourselves, right? And it's a big market to really cater to. But there are three themes, Varun, which are clearly emerging, in front of me. They are the trends, they are the way of working. I feel assistive technology innovation and a startup ecosystem will evolve. First, and you use that word blitz scale. I think what's going to happen with a lot of attention, which is coming to this sector, a lot of innovators are entering in, a lot of funding hopefully will start to happen now. This industry of assistive technology innovation startup is going to blitz scale. Now, assistive technology focused organization depend on multi-dimensional partnership of growth. I sometimes feel that sometimes our own legacy are not designed to support that kind of scale. But if we need to really leverage the power of connected intelligence, startups and innovators first need to re-architect. And if we don't do it, we are going to leave a lot of value on the table. Yeah. So that's the first trend I feel this whole market is going to blitz scale. And a lot of you will see a lot of growth by some of the disabilities in some of the sectors in some of the countries. So that's first. Second, I did mention it, but I just want to re-emphasize we are in a sector which will not grow without co-creation. We have to reimagine how we are collaborating with each other, and we need to challenge the existing model in order to create something which is wholly new sometime. And to grow our impact beyond the circle of influence, we need to build that sustainable forward-looking partnership. If we do not co-create in the sector we are in, uh, growth is going to be so limited. That's my point of view. So that's the second, and the last, which I call power of M. And by M, I mean really harnessing the imagine of millennials, the young people. There are some stats which are very interesting that 60%, 62% of millennials have always considered starting their own businesses, where they 72% all of them feel that startup and entrepreneurship are really is going to be the economic force to drive a lot of initiative across the world. Now, how do we really leverage and establish this whole power of millennials, right? They are they are creative, they are hungry, they want to contribute, they want to make an impact, so soon. And I think it's going to be our responsibility again, Varun, to really involve them in this process, and probably all of us are doing the right thing by involving all the young innovators and technocrats to and helping them to grow and make the change. So I think these are the three trends. First is the blitz scaling, second is the co-creation, and third is really the power of millennials.
I'm just at the cutoff for millennials, so I'm gonna take it. My last question for you is, do you have any message for the founders who are going to pitch today and any accessibility entrepreneurs listening in today?
Well, I have many, but I'll restrict you since you said one. And that one is, see, when you look at startup, as an entity in India, just to give you a stat, only in this year we have seen 33 unicorns. I mean, I'm not saying assistive technology in general, startup ecosystem. So this, even given COVID, we have seen 33 startups who become unicorns, which is $1 billion or more valuation, right? Now, my perspective there is, while all the startups should become or aspire to become unicorn and such large companies, but if I were to follow any animal, and if I have a suggestion, follow camel. Be a camel at the stage where you're in, because camel is resilient. Camel, stores a lot of energy. Camel has a lot of patience. So I know it's and unicorn anyway is a very imaginary animal, right? So if you were to follow, be a camel, at the stage where you are in, while aspire to be a unicorn. I think that would be my one piece of advice, since you asked.
Well, as that guy from that Apple show, his name is missing from my head right now. As he says, believe. Believe you're a camel, but you want to aspire to be a unicorn. What a wonderful message to end this conversation with. Prateek, thank you so very much for joining today. This was a wonderful, wonderful conversation, and we really appreciate your insights.
Well, thank you so much, Varun, for inviting. Good luck to ATS Labs, and best wishes to all the startup who are presenting today.
Thank you. All right, so after that wonderful discussion, The next step for us is the purpose we are all here today, the pitch competition. For the pitch competition, we're going to have two judges today with us. We have Frank Ordino as our first judge, who is an award-winning angel investor and member of multiple investment groups in Canada. Frank brings over 35 years of experience working in high-profile corporations and numerous awards for his work in Canada's angel investing ecosystem. Welcome, Frank. Our second judge is Cara Kennedy, Director of Startup Programs at ALI, where she leads the Verizon Forward for Good Accelerator for Disability Innovation. Before ALI, Cara worked in multiple roles at Techstars and has run multiple accelerators across the United States. Welcome, Cara. So for the pitch competition, we will have 3 minutes of pitches, followed by 3 minutes of a Q&A session with the judges. Unfortunately, in the interest of time, we're not able to bring in audience Q&A this time around, but you're welcome to go and grill our founders later in the networking session. So without further ado, I would like to welcome our first presenter for the day, Jolene from Accessibrand. Jolene, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Varun. Can I share my screen? Is that working? There
Please
we go.
Go ahead.
Okay, just 1 second.
We're seeing your presenter view right now, Jolene.
Yes, it's taking a minute to load. There we go. Can you see that okay now? Okay, sorry about that. I am
no
good.
Worries. Whenever you're ready.
You tell me when to go. You ready?
Whenever you're ready.
Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Jolie McDonald, and I am the founder of Accessibrand. We are an accessibility-focused design and marketing agency, and our team is a collective of professionals that have all been impacted by disability and require flexible work. Over 22% of the Canadian population identify as having a disability, and our team represents a big part of that statistic, ensuring your communications are inclusive. Accessibrand was developed based on my own personal story. My youngest daughter was born with dwarfism, and I was diagnosed with an invisibility a few years ago. It's through these life experiences that I realized the need to create a different kind of accessibility-based agency. Based on my 20 years of agency experience and 18 years as a business owner, here are some of the problems we're solving. Accessibility is an afterthought in all design. Software can't replace user experience, and people impacted by disability need flexible work. Our personal experiences combined with our connections to the disability community is the solution to these problems. Experience, user testing, and flexible work. Currently, there's no other agency structured like us. We offer all accessibility services as one company rather than having to deal with 3 or 4. This saves our clients time, money, and reduces project management stress. And as a social enterprise, clients feel good about choosing to partner with us. Our services are built on over 75 plus years of combined experience, as well as lived experience with disability, making us the experts. Why do organizations and businesses need our services? Every country has their own laws, but in Ontario, as of on January 1st, specific companies needed to comply with the Accessibility for Ontarians with Disability Act. Failure to comply can lead to very large fines up to $100,000 per day. And once the Accessible Canada Act is launched, every single business will be required to be accessible. We are already in the process of our go-to market strategy. Our targeted customers are those organizations who need to comply, essentially every business over 50 employees. Some of the logos on the screen you see here are customers that we've already done work with, and each company values our experience and understands the importance of accessibility. Shown here are our packages for accessibility as a service, making accessibility easy to achieve. Traditional agencies struggle with consistent revenue, and clients want real-life experience. Tiered pricing models are based on the hours and the extent of work needed to have, so clients can have easy access. We have a team already established to address these accessibility services and needs, and we are designers, developers, project managers, writers, and technical persons. With our monthly packages and services, we expected to make $150,000 in our first year. We've already surpassed that, and our goal is to reach 500,000 by the end of year 2. We feel these numbers are easily attainable with signing up to 3 customers per month. Our ask is at this time, we're looking to raise 150,000 to help us with growth. We need people and some additional technology to help with that. Thank you so much for your time, and we are very excited for the potential for growth and impact. We feel it's limitless.
Frank, Cara, you're welcome to ask any questions you might like.
Jolene, thank you for sharing that information about your company. That was great.
Thank you.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
You mentioned early in your presentation that accessibility is an afterthought for a lot of organizations.
Yes.
How do you plan, or what are your thoughts on getting ahead of that for your future growth?
I think for the most part, what's happening right now is we're doing a lot of fixing. So within the industries itself, there's a lot of people who we know that we want to go from A to Z, but we're not going to get there right away. So right now we're focused on A to C, so to speak. So we're doing a lot of fixes, but what we're doing in the meantime is making a lot of lists and trying to educate the clients on how they can change what they're doing moving forward. So if we are starting a project, we know that we're going to obviously test it with real people with disabilities, as well as the fact that we're designers and marketers. But then if they can't do that right away, we're taking the time to educate them on what the next best practice could be. So I think that's how we're really focusing on it right now. In a perfect world, we'd love to start everything over, but we know financially and for organizations, that's not an option.
Yeah, it sounds like education is a part of your package then.
It's a huge part, yes. We have been doing some training and seminars as well with some different clients.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Jolie, thank you so much for sharing that with me. I just have a few questions. First of all, I want to commend all of you for doing this. It's such a huge need. We have something exciting that we'll announce later on, Varun and I, about a marketplace event coming up next March and June to put you in front of customers. I have 3 questions, if I could, please. I didn't get a real feel of what is the special, what makes your company, Accessibrand, so unique versus the competition. I know it's tough in 3 minutes, you got a couple hundred words. So that would be one. What really is that sets you apart from what's out there? And the second would be, can you talk a little bit more about your team? I don't think I saw a team slide. And then how will you use the 150K?
Okay, so for your first question, and I have some cognitive issues, so I'll probably have to ask you your questions again.
No problem.
The first one was, what did you say again for the
what
first
really
one?
sets you apart?
Okay.
What really is the secret sauce to Accessibrand?
As of right now, I mean, all over the world, there's design and marketing agencies, right? But nobody has any lived experience that we know of in the same capacity. We've done a lot of research, not to say that there isn't somebody out there, but what we do is offer on the one slide, we talk about the spectrum where you can come to us for design, marketing, manual user services, as well as accessibility services like document remediation. Right now, every client has to go to individual places, and there's not a lot of designers and marketers that are skilled in understanding how to create a job from the beginning and make it accessible and usable to people with disabilities. We also have the people with disabilities, which other companies do not. So I feel like that is our defining factor there. And your second question was?
How are you going to use the 150K?
So right now, what we're looking at implementing is we'd like to be able to have more growth with more team. As we said, we're a collective of individuals. So many people are on disability, so they're freelancers, but we also know that we need some full-time persons. We have 2 full-time people now, plus myself, but we'd like to use that towards employees and specifically marketing. And we'd like to do some more training videos as a value add and a dashboard for our clients to manage the SaaS packages.
Thank you, Jolene. Hopefully that answered Conchata's questions. Our time is up for this session. Congratulations on a wonderful pitch. Frank, Cara, let me know whenever you're ready for our next presenter.
Ready when you are.
I just need 1 sec, please.
No problem.
All set, young man. Thank you, Varun.
Thank you. Our next presenter is the Cortree team. Over to you.
Thanks, Rune. I'll just go ahead and share the screen.
Looks good.
So you can all see the screen. Perfect.
Yes.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. My name is Oda Alanizi, and I'm presenting today with my colleagues Cheryl Cordner and Tori Bowman. At Cortree, we provide training for personal support workers and attendants. We're a social venture owned by Spinal Cord Injury Ontario, and our proceeds are reinvested to support new education and advocacy campaigns by and for people with disabilities. In Canada, personal support workers assist with activities of daily living for people with disabilities and seniors in their home or in long-term care. In home care, recruitment and retention of support workers is an ongoing and urgent priority. Organizations are turning to hiring people with no prior training in order to provide service. This means necessary skills can be delayed or missed. This skills gap can be disastrous.
Thanks, Oda. Our solution is to provide specialized training offered on the job using a virtual model of delivery. We engage facilitators with lived experience in design and delivery of training, as hearing it from someone that receives services puts things in a different light. In the next 20 years, Canada's seniors population is expected to grow by 68%. For the healthcare system absorbing the strain of the aging population, providing services at home is more cost-effective than long-term care. The staffing and skills gap will remain as long as demand for home care services outpaces the recruitment of new support workers.
Thanks, Cheryl. The home care industry in Canada is growing. As of August 2021, there were 4,600 businesses employing 73,000 staff and a total market size of $5 billion. We currently offer training on spinal cord injury in Ontario to 3 attendant service providers. We've trained more than 250 support workers to date with a 95% satisfaction and net promoter score of 87. We generated $170,000 in revenue in our first year. Our growth strategy relies on developing products with crossover relevance to the seniors care space, like continence and skin integrity, and selling to home care agencies across Canada. Our ask for you today: we need advisors with expertise in health and education sectors, partners to help us grow, and social impact grant funds for business development to validate a new opportunity and an expansion of digital marketing.
Thank you, Tori. Spinal Cord Injury Ontario has delivered attendance services for more than 30 years. We have a strong reputation and network in the sector. As someone with a disability, I can tell you how important it is that more than half of our team identify as people with disabilities experienced in working with support workers. Thank you for your time, and we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Oda. That was right on time. Judges, over to you.
Frank, you want to go first this time?
I was just saying, hey, Kara, would you like to go first? But I realized, hey, that was awesome, guys. Thank you so much. I'm really enjoying this. I have one question, fundamental. I really wanted to know more a little bit about your strategy for growth. As we know, about 70% of companies fail, not because the team isn't great or the product, they haven't figured out their marketplace. Can you talk a little bit more about how you're going to scale and at what point you would need capital, if at all, to scale, please?
Our strategy to scale is to grow beyond our foothold right now in Ontario is serving attendant service providers and spinal cord injury training, which is, as our roots owned by Spinal Cord Injury Ontario, that's our core expertise. What we're trying to do is build products that speak more to seniors care. And that's where we see the potential of 4,600 agencies, public and private, across the country. So the first topic we identified that has that crossover relevance is continence issues in skin. Pressure sores are a huge problem. They lead to hospitalization and sometimes death. They happen in long-term care, in acute, at home. They've grown the incidence during COVID with less mobility for people with disabilities and seniors. We also know there's other topics like communication skills, cross-cultural communication, and that's what we're really aiming to do. Build piece by piece additional products that we can sell into the seniors care market.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed the tandem presentation with your whole team. That was great. Thank you. A question I have is related to what Frank asked, which is, when it comes to scaling and thinking about how to interact with as many customers as possible to have the best impact. I'm curious, I saw your 87 NPS score. Is that score from your end users, which are the people delivering the training, or is that from your customers, which are the centers that I assume are purchasing your product?
So that's taken from the actual participants in the training, so the staff of the organizations. Yep.
Great. I'm curious to hear, what feedback have you gotten from the users of your product that may indicate digital needs or real-time needs that they have, like solving questions in real time, or perhaps like online training videos? Have they given you any indication as to ways you can interact with them digitally to help your scaling?
I think a lot of that, we did a market research analysis this fall, really asking questions about what are the gaps, what are the needs. And one thing that did come up fairly loud and clear was that need to expand on e-learning platforms. One of the challenges when they're short staffed, when you pull staff off schedule for training, it always presents that challenge, right? So the more e-learning there can be that they can do in their own time or work around their schedule, the better. So there's definitely interest been expressed in that. And one of the other things with us is we have a really good LMS platform that we're staged to host training for other organizations that may not be in a position to purchase an LMS system.
Thank you, Cheryl. We're at time. Thank you for that wonderful presentation and the responses. Next up, we will have Liana. So Frank, Cara, again, let me know whenever you're ready. Okay, Cara, you good to go? Awesome. Okay, Liana from Imaginable Solutions, over to you.
Thank you, Varun. Okay, I'm just gonna do a quick check to see if my slide deck moves forward, because I've been having a little bit of trouble with that. Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Hi, everyone. My name is Liana Genovese, CEO and founder of Imaginable Solutions and inventor of our product, Guided Hands. We create assistive technology to improve the quality of life for people living with limited hand mobility. Meet Elijah, a 10-year-old boy living with cerebral palsy. In this video, I ask him to write his name, but he struggles to write the first letter because he has limited control in his hand and arm. Elijah is unable to express himself creatively, and since writing and drawing is a way that children often learn and communicate with one another, Elijah feels socially excluded and frustrated. He is one of 58 million people in North America of all ages living with a medical condition that impairs their hand mobility. Our early adopters will be the 95,000 children in Canada and then expand to the 42 million adults in North America. Our goal is to bring them Guided Hands, an assistive device that enables people living with limited hand mobility to paint, write, draw, and use a touchscreen device. Our sliding mechanism uses a system of linear ball bearings and shafts that guide the hand in all directions as the user holds a handpiece tailored to their level of hand impairment. This is the basis of our Canadian and US patent. Guided Hands improves quality of life, providing the user confidence, creativity, and independence. We create awareness for Guided Hands through 3 main channels in North America. We sell B2B to schools, hospitals, and rehabilitation centers and offer volume pricing. We also sell directly to families on our website. They are referred by their association, their occupational therapist, or educational assistant. We manufacture Guided Hands in-house for $124 and sell it at $525. We aim to raise investment money to scale with the manufacturer, which will improve our margins significantly from 76% to 83%. During our R&D, we co-created and tested Guided Hands with over 300 professionals and patients. Today, leading organizations across North America are using Guided Hands on both paid and unpaid pilot projects. In September, we manufactured and launched the first 50 Guided Hands. 60% were pre-ordered and 30% have been purchased and fulfilled. We have a strong team of researchers, advisors, professional engineers, and physicians. And together, we transform Guided Hands into an international award-winning product. Last month, Guided Hands was announced the Canadian winner of the James Dyson Award. We need your investment of $250,000 to reach our next milestone to scale to a contract and manufacture, fund research for Guided Hands 2.0, and market globally. At Imaginable Solutions, we enable people to live the life they imagine. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Leona. Again, right on time. Frank, Cara.
Kara first.
All
We're
right.
switching. We're back and forth.
Let's do that, Frank. Liana, thank you. That was a great presentation. I love seeing the demo in the deck. That was very helpful. My question, when on your slide where you are making your ask for funding, you talk about version 2.0 for your product. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you envision for that?
Yeah, for sure. I kind of snuck that in, so I'm glad that you asked. So I'm just going to go to our slide. So 2.0, we actually have a team of engineering students at McMaster working to integrate stabilization into our handpieces. So this further expands our market to people with Parkinson's disease and more severe tremors. So along with these handpieces that are going to have stabilization technology within them, obviously we're going to also include other features and different designs within Guided Hands. And we're hoping to use the initial 50 customers, our small launch, to help us to influence and co-create with them so that we can design a better version for Guided Hands 2.0. But the majority of it is integrating that stabilization to widen our market.
Great, thank you.
Leanna, that was a terrific presentation, like all the other individuals. It's just amazing what technology. I have one question. I see that you're doing some great traction. So the 250K, which I think it may be possible here from the investment side, what are the terms of that 250? Is it on, are you giving us shares? Is it a note with just a loan repayable? How do you see the relationship with the angel community on the term sheet side?
Yeah, for sure. So I have spoken with potential investors beforehand, but I'm finishing up my last year of McMaster University in the fall. So we are deciding to do a round when I graduate in April. And so I've had some conversations with some mentors, and we decided that probably looking at a convertible note would be the best route possible for our first round.
Terrific, thank you. And just for all the folks that are presenting, as investors, we always look for the people, obviously, which all of you have it. We look for the product or the service, and then a little bit on the financial side. Where do you see yourself in 5 years potentially on revenue for this organization, Leanna?
Yeah, so again, one of the asks as well is mentorship within the financial area. So right now, just because we have done an initial product launch in September, we're still building out our financial projections, but we are hoping to do another, let me just go to our short timeline slide. So we are hoping to build out another 250 units next February, which will yield us about $131,000 in revenue. And then we're hoping to release our 2.0 version. And right now we just haven't done the projections for that, just because we still are in the process of research and development, not sure how much it will be priced at, because again, still in the R&D. But we do foresee lots of sales within Canada and the US and an expansion to the global market quite soon. We've already had assistive tech centers in Singapore and England reach out to us. So we are hoping to go global soon.
Thank you, Aaron. We are at time. Thank you for our wonderful presentations and for the responses. Next up, we have Sherry Law from Innerva Virtual.
Oh, okay, let me go ahead and share my screen. Screen 2.
Looks good.
Thank you so much. And just let me one more moment here. Okay, I'm ready when you folks are.
Go for it.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sherry Law. I'm the CEO of Innerva Virtual. Innerva Virtual builds digital spaces where health, fitness, and aging come together. Part clinic and part gymnasium, our users will find experiences that can serve as tools in assessing, rehabilitating, and strengthening themselves physically as well as cognitively. Our platform can make healthy aging engaging, easy, and fun, focusing on the Canadian and US markets. The beginning of the Innerva Virtual's journey started back in 2013 when my grandmother took ill half a world away during my master's degree. She was isolated in Hong Kong with a lack of access to care. In my desperation to help her, I began growing curious about virtual reality's impact on seniors. As we began our research, we found that falls were a leading cause of injury for seniors, impacting 1/3 of the population. Falls were also the #1 reason for hospitalization. And not only do falls commonly require surgery, but also decrease efficacy of rehabilitation due to frailty. This cascades to an increased burden of disease and decrease in well-being. We know the population is aging, and with COVID's continued presence, it is more important now than ever for preventative measures to ensure healthy aging and to keep our seniors out of hospitals. Partnering with a local research institute, we are building a battery of health games aimed to detect fall risk, cognitive decline, balance disorders, and implement rehabilitative exercises. Users in a spacious area will engage in colorful and interactive experiences while our platform measures their health and connects this data with care providers. This means that our product can capture critical health information at home, rural and urban settings, and in either independent or assisted living for personal and clinician review, raising awareness to any health declines. All of this supports our mission, which is providing inclusive, healthy aging through virtual reality. VR sales are over $15 billion in 2020, with a projected $45 billion reached by 2027. Longevity is a mega trend, which increases the odds of frailty as per the United Nations, and we believe that our growth potential will follow hardware development and adoption. We are also different from our competitors, being more than simple visual experiences, focused on preventative care rather than reactive care, and addressing a demographic that seldom intersects with virtual reality. Our go-to-market strategy will include working very closely with our early adopters, listening to our stakeholders' feedback to identify buyers, positioning ourselves with the uptick in adoption, and then moving into a B2B, B2C model with an interest in software as a service and subscription as our content selection grows. Our team includes the co-founders with a combined 12 years of research, leadership and regulation recognizing PIPEDA, safety and security, as well as personal stories tied to our product, a technology consultant with over a decade of industry experience in game design and development, and a clinical team of experts with disability insight, highlighting Dr. Chris McGibbon from the University of New Brunswick, Harvard graduate. We are yet to begin raising money, but welcome any introductions, mentorship opportunities, or door openings. Thank you for your attention, and I'll be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Sherry.
Sherry, thank you so much for that presentation. Healthy aging, very inspirational. To all of you folks, I think it's as angels, we're not Kevin O'Leary's. We actually like, there's always a personal, which is really, really lovely that everyone has a personal cause. The question that I would have for you, Sherry, would be more around the product in the market. Can you, I didn't quite get, what is it that your product is? I think I just want to know a little bit more about what the product is and the solution. And then part two to that question is, how are you going to capture market share from that $47 billion industry? Please. Thank you, Sherry.
Yes. Thank you so much for the question, Frank. So our product is generating experiences through virtual reality that are engaging and fun, but laced within those experiences of fun are actual assessments that's currently being done in traditional healthcare provision, namely things like testing for fall risk, testing for cognitive decline. And we're trying to integrate those standardized tests into a virtual reality platform so that it's not so much hidden from the person that they're being assessed, but while they're engaging in these fun experiences, there's also a health monitoring aspect built within the platform. And through capturing mobility data and capturing time data, there will be kind of announcements on any sort of declines, and that feedback will be given to the care providers, the loved ones, so that they can become more officially diagnosed or assessed by a healthcare professional. And in terms of capturing the market, we recognize that virtual reality is yet to become mainstream. And so with the uptick of this adoption of the hardware, once this development in the hardware becomes more comfortable, easily financially accessible, especially with Facebook's recent developments in creating Meta and their huge contributions to building up the virtual reality space and making it accessible, we are hoping to ride that wave and enter in the market as these devices enter into the homes of the children of the seniors and also the institutions that serve these seniors.
Thank you, Sherry. We're running out of time, but if the judges need a couple minutes or a minute or so to compile their scores so far, Kara, if you like, you can ask a question in the meantime.
Sure. I have a quick question for you, Sherry. Thanks for your presentation. I was curious, you mentioned that you have a consultant or a third party developing your product with you. I'm just wondering, because of that third party relationship, do you own all of your IP? And also, is there a reason you've chosen a consultant versus bringing someone onto the team?
We currently do not have the finances to support continued development of this product, but this person has been with us since the development of our initial prototype, and we trust him a great deal, and we do own all the IP developed.
Great, thanks for clarifying.
Thank you. Oh, you're muted, Varun.
Well, it was bound to happen sooner or later. I was saying, Sherry, thank you for that wonderful presentation. Judges, shall we go ahead to the next one? Awesome. All right, next one, we have Lisnen, and the founder is Ira Abraham. Ira, over to you. Ira, you're on mute.
Thank you very much. So most of the world assumes that everyone else hears. Sounds like fire alarms and sirens all calling for attention is a huge barrier for people with hearing loss. So meet Barbara. Barbara is hard of hearing, and she values an independent life, not worrying about missing important sounds or having to broadcast her hearing loss for the whole world to know, or relying on her family and friends to look after her just because she can't hear. So when Barbara wants to get notified to a new sound event, she basically has to buy another alerting device or find another solution. And if it's outside of the home, the whole process starts all over again, unsure if the solution's gonna work or she's gonna get the support needed. So Lisnen wants to rewrite that experience by creating an AI hearing assisted application using the latest in sound recognition technology. So users get notified to sounds like fire alarm, door knocks, and many more. Our brand agnostic solution allows users to receive haptic and visual notification using smartphones and other smart devices at their disposal. Lisnen is about safety and convenience. So with 41 million people worldwide and growing, people with hearing loss had transitioned from the traditional alerting devices or assistive technologies that haven't changed much since the 80s and 90s to hacking mainstream technology to help with their hearing challenges. And so Lisnen wants to get ahead of the curve by providing a solution that's not only accessible, but affordable through our subscription plan that gives unlimited access anytime and anywhere. I should mention to you that Barbara and I have something in common. We're both hard of hearing. And as a CEO, I lead with my personal experience, but I'm also an advocate for people with disability in international committees on stage and in the media. And I have an amazing support of organizations who've been with me every step of the way. So to date, we've been able to get 100 users to the concept and MOU and some funding. And after research and development and testing our alpha app to a small group of testers, we're now on the pathway to commercialization and reaching product market fit. So this is where your support comes in. We're always looking for funding to support one round of a development cycle. And long-term, we're always looking for additional funding to support our network connection and to shorten our time to market. So I'll leave it with one point, and that is everyone truly deserves the right to know about sound events around them, especially if it's a matter of life and death. And hopefully you agree too. So thank you.
Thank you, Ira. Judges?
Ira, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
I would love to ask a question around the technology that you are using or maybe plan to use for your product, which is, I'm curious, when there is an environmental sound or circumstance, how is that captured and translated to a specific emergency for the user to comprehend?
Yes, that's great. So a lot of it, the technology is on artificial intelligence. So we use a lot, I'll focus on data and having the right data and labeling. And so we spend a lot of time investigating on the amount of data through the research and development techniques that we can implement to ensure that we're getting understanding of the actual sound event. We also partner with organizations like Eaton, who are fire alarm manufacturers. They come with industry knowledge. And by having industry knowledge, we can improve our quality of our data set to give the right accuracy to the end users.
Thank you for that clarification.
Nothing.
Ira, quick question. I have a scoring card here that I have to follow. You can see I'm still old school. I use paper and then I put it on the screen. Can you talk a little bit more about your team? It's one of the judging things here. So I would love to know a little bit more about your team. I've known your company for a while now. Just talk a little bit about who are the people that are going to help you get through this journey.
Yeah, so because I've been bootstrapping, the team has always been through contractors and through research and development. It's a strategy that I chose to take because as we get to product market fit and understand the market needs better, then we can start to employ and have people long term. So right now I work with contractors and overseas who are phenomenal. And I have to say, especially we're ahead of the curve. When I started the business, sound recognition wasn't a typical topic that was in a knowledge base, but having found the industry have evolved, we also are seeing more talent. And so we're certainly positive in the future that we can bring in more people as time goes. Yeah.
Thank you, Ira.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Frank, Cara, are you ready for the next one?
In 1 minute.
Ready when you are.
All set, sir.
Thank you, Frank. Next up, we have David from Parrots.
Hi, everyone. Can you see my screen?
It's loading, and there we go.
Hi, everyone. I am David Hoja, founder and CEO of Parrots, Inc. Our mission is empowering people with physical and communication challenges to connect with the world. We do believe there are millions of people like Stephen Hawking out there who are just missing accessible technology to be the next scientist, engineer, whatever they want to be. And we're here to empower them to be able to achieve their dreams, starting with communication. This is my friend, Steve Stalin. He was a great landscape designer. His life completely changed after diagnosed with ALS. Eventually lost the ability to walk using his hand, and nowadays he cannot speak to his little son. But he has a great spirit by saying, ALS took my voice, but not my soul. So a lot of people facing challenges who started with ineffective communications and expensive healthcare. And we're talking about many conditions from multiple sclerosis, ALS, cerebral palsy, spinal cord injury, and many other conditions. That's why we built Poly, which is a platform harnessing the power of AI and machine learning, giving them a smart voice and telecare. So nowadays, our users can communicate in real time just by using their eyes. And we have 5 values to summarize our values. We call them our 5 C's. the most important value, communications. Nowadays, this varies using a very slow, outdated system. But if they use our system, they can communicate in real time within seconds. We do a lot of computer vision, so you can understand the surrounding, indoor and outdoor, including voice recognitions, understanding the surrounding, connect them to smart home devices, and we're compatible with a lot of build switches, including eye gaze. We are hardware agnostic. We can be in the tablet or even smartphones. Also, not last but not least, we provide telecare solutions. This is one use case. So Jack in his nursing home, the system understands the scenarios happening. He's having his favorite drink, and now maybe he's getting hot because he's wearing a sweater. The system can predict the sentence before even typing anything, like, could you take off my sweater? And the system keep learning and predicting sentences all the time based on what's happening in real time. We added the second product, we added alarm system and life monitoring for emergencies. If they're falling from bed, falling from the wheelchair, the system can detect that. So the family members, healthcare team can check on their patient in real time with remote monitoring as well. A lot of people love our system because it's saving time and money for the patients and the caregivers. We are working to get our devices covered by the insurance. We identify the codes to apply for the insurance through the public and private sectors, starting with the US and Canada. And we have over 180 active users, and we won many award competitions like Novartis, the Multiple Sclerosis Challenge last year, and we have a partnership with many organizations like Multiple Sclerosis Society, Easter Seals, Cerebral Palsy Foundations, and a lot of nursing homes in Canada and US. And we have our current investors. We already have all these investors as convertible notes is going toward our pre-seed round. We're almost closing this round by this winter, opening the seed round sometimes next year. We are a really passionate team from different backgrounds, technical and healthcare. Myself, I worked many companies in drone medical devices. Our CEO with business and marketing backgrounds, and our CTO from MIT with over 25 years experience in electrical engineering and medical devices. And we have great advisors from different backgrounds.
Sorry, I'm going to have to jump in here as we are way over time on your pitch. Unfortunately, I do have to cut you off. I apologize, but we got to stick to our time. So judges, Frank, Caro, do you have any questions for David?
Kara's first.
Right. All right, thank you, David, for that presentation. It sounds like you've got a product in the market in a sense that you've got some active users. With this next round of funding that you're looking to raise, what are you hoping to accomplish with that? Is that for more manufacturing? Is that so you can build out some new specifications and use cases for the product? What do you plan to spend that money on?
Well, for the next round, first of all, it's go for the R&D and for the next generations. Mm-hmm. Second, the process for applying for the insurance and getting all the stuff regarding the insurance process. Third, we're gonna expand the team with chief marketing officers and more people on the product side and marketing. These are all the milestones we want to achieve to reach over 3,000 users.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to jump in quickly here, just respecting the time. David, a lot of information here, a lot of case study, a lot of features. I'm not really following what makes you special versus the competition, right? When we compare something, what really makes this product special? I had a hard time really figuring that out versus the competitors.
Yes, the most important thing, which is the computer vision, the real-time interaction, the machine learning that keep learning over time. One of the things I mentioned, the sentences, like the system can predict sentences and respond to certain things happen during the day based on their conditions. We analyze their body language, facial expressions, even we connect to the wearable devices we can predict sentences faster than all others because all other systems rely on built-in pictures or built-in models. It's not building as real-time interaction, understanding the real scenarios, whether they're having a meal or having a physical therapy sessions or they have emergency situation. So the system can detect that even without the patient doing anything, because we analyze all the things from everything around them, what's happening to the patient, and also the surrounding, whether indoor or outdoor.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
That was fantastic. You covered a lot. That was great. Frank, Cara, shall we go ahead? Great. Next up, we have Recommend, presented by Hannah. Hannah, over to you.
Thanks, Varun. All right. Are you all able to see my screen?
Yes, whenever you're ready.
Perfect. All right. So hi, everyone. My name is Hannah. I am the founder and CEO of Recommend. We've developed a contextual text-to-speech platform that provides value to patients with communication disabilities, their caregivers, and clinicians. We launched our B2C solution in October of this year, and we plan to expand into the hospital setting with a B2B approach. Our company exists because the ability to express oneself through communication is a vital contributor to overall health. But the harsh reality is that many individuals feel like they don't have a voice. There are 13 million people in Canada and the US that live with acquired communication disabilities. This includes those with both long-term and temporary impairments. So that can range from having a stroke to being on a ventilator. Given that older adults are at higher risk for these conditions, we anticipate immense growth in this market over the next several years. Our patent-pending text-to-speech platform provides opportunities for meaningful conversation to individuals with communication disorders. Users may select clinician-validated phrases, add their own custom content, and choose from novel phrase recommendations. The platform learns from their usage and automatically personalizes the experience over time. Patients are able to regain independence through quick access to relevant phrases. Caregivers and family members get back time because the platform is so easy to use and customize. And finally, clinicians can support a smooth transition home for patients by introducing the platform during rehab, using it to guide prescribed therapy plans, and tracking key metrics. There are currently no other solutions on the market that bring value to all of these stakeholders. We've demonstrated success by converting over 70% of our pilot users to paying customers and growing our users since launching 3 weeks ago. In 1 year, we will have grown our B2C users through clinician and caregiver connections while piloting the B2B platform with inpatient stroke rehab teams. In 3 years, we will become the standard for assistive communication in hospital settings while continuing to offer a B2C home version of the app. Our B2C model is a $200 one-time purchase, and this has been determined based on research. This stream provides a great touch point with customers through our digital community. The B2B model will bring scalability through a monthly tiered subscription for hospitals. We launched our B2C platform in October. Through continued B2C sales and B2B pilots in 2022, we expect $250,000 in revenue, which will scale to $900,000 in 2023 as we continue to reach more hospitals. We've built an amazing team with diverse experience in the health and technology sectors, and we are currently seeking individuals to round out technical product management and marketing execution. We'd like to recognize as well the several innovative and inspiring organizations that we've had the opportunity to work with, some of which as B2C and B2B pilot partners. So we are looking to raise $250,000 to support growing a full-time team and to support B2B development expenses. Join us in transforming the transforming the communication therapy landscape. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. You got this. Frank, Cara.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to the product because you're going to find investors are always going to ask you about product and customers and dollars, right? So I'm not the techie, so I won't go into much of the product, but I would love to know, Hannah, what really, when even digital has a competition, it's my pen. Who are they using now? What are these facilities using now? How long will it take you to convert for what you're using to your platform?
Okay, so when we talk about the inpatient stroke rehab teams at hospitals, that's where all the stroke patients pass through in their care pathway. They're mostly using physical materials. So physical word boards where an individual will have to find the word that they're looking for, point to it to communicate the message that they're trying to put out there. What we've heard from many clinicians that they want a digital solution that can support their patients and their customized needs. So this really fits that, that area, as well as tracking the patient progress. If patients love the solution in the hospital environment, we offer a home version where they can easily transfer over their account and have continued care throughout their entire communication journey.
Thank you very much. That was great. Thank you so much, Hannah.
Thank you.
Hannah, thank you for your presentation. I really had a question, or maybe it's even just more of a thought around how you presented your potential market. I know in the beginning of your presentation, you mentioned, I think it was 13 million Canadians and Americans experience like a long-term form of speechlessness or a communication disability. But then later in your presentation, you mentioned what I felt like was a huge opportunity for rehab and ICU patients that seem to probably be happening in the North America and the world continuously, right? How have you thought about thinking about expanding how you talk about your market?
Definitely, yeah, it's a great question, and I guess kind of relates to our growth plan. So we've definitely started with this population of stroke patients, specifically those with aphasia, which is a type of communication disability that often results. And that's just helping us focus on developing features from an accessible standpoint. And from there, we do plan to expand into the rehab space in hospitals. And then from there, further into the ICU area where we can be a solution, even if it's temporary, for patients in that environment. So definitely the numbers, they're a lot larger when we do look at that market, but it's something that we're slowly working towards and growing into.
Thank you, Hannah. Thank you. And that brings us to our last presenter of the day, SenseTech Solutions. Frank, Cara, shall we go ahead? Great. Ali, over to you.
You got to the end already, huh?
Yes, sorry about that.
That was a 3 minutes. It just went by like that.
Frank, do you have any questions? No.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Ali Raza. I'm the CTO and co-founder of SenseTech Solutions. My partner is Robert and Gina, who's the CEO. SenseTech Solutions is a software company that specializes in the development of accessible technologies for solving real-world problems. We co-design our products with our end users and customers. We have partnered with many universities, colleges, organizations such as the Canadian National Institute for the Blind, as well as some medical and engineering firms. We support ourselves by ways of selling our products, as well as through funding from awards and grants. We have many products and services. Our 3 primary products are listed above. However, for the purpose of this pitch, I'll be focusing only on RayOP, which is our accessible AI-powered interview platform. RayOP came about from 3 problem statements. Originally, CNIB had approached us and stated that people with sight loss were 2 times less likely to be employed full-time compared to their sighted counterparts. And this was primarily because of the lack of confidence, because of the friction during the career entry phase. Another problem that we recognized was that some job seekers would have to apply to as many as 100 jobs before getting a single interview. And this can be very discouraging. But the reason for this is because time and resources are very limited during the hiring process. With RayOP, we want to solve these 3 problems. So RayOP is a software platform that offers an accessible and customizable experience for anyone to practice and autonomously evaluate their interview skills. It is also an affordable, authorable, and scalable solutions for companies to connect with more candidates, perform asynchronous interviews, formulate accessible content, and then evaluate their results. RayOP is supported on a wide range of platforms. It is currently being tested by people with and without disabilities. Our business model is that will allow anyone looking to practice interviews or looking for work to access it for free, and will generate revenue by charging the organizations and companies a flat $3 per interview fee. Statistically, there are about 10 million Americans looking for work at any given time. On average, a typical employer will go through 6 to 10 candidates per job, which will then go through 2 to 3 rounds of interviews. We want to increase this first round of interviews to say 50 using our platform. We expect to spend 10 cents and generate $3 per interview. Therefore, for every user that interfaces with our company, we expect to see a 30-to-1 return. We are requesting 150,000 Canadian, and this is for next level market validation. We want to work with companies and co-design the online platform in terms of UI and UX. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Ali.
Hey, Ali, thank you for your presentation. My question is around getting some more clarification on the value and the benefit for the corporations that you want to engage with through this product. Can you tell us more about how you benefit their hiring process, and also how you plan to open up opportunities for people with disabilities in the hiring process with these employers, whether that's through education or helping to close a skills gap or whatever that may be? I'd just love to hear more about the benefit for the corporation.
Okay, I'll start with the first question. I might have to ask you again for the second.
No problem.
So our value proposition is that, typically, like, a company will go through 6 to 10 employees during the interview process. Now, this only works if it shows the right 10 people to interview in the first place. I think our value proposition is that if we can increase this to 50, and say, like, we can increase the chances of them hiring a better person for the job by a little as 10 to 15%, I think it's worth the $3 per interview fee, because in the long term, they can save as much as like tens of thousands of dollars. I think I answered the first question.
Great, thank you.
Your second question, sorry, could you please repeat it?
Yes, so I see that you do, it's accessible simulations for persons with disabilities, right? Yeah. You know, what is your plan for some of those simulations and translating that into winning jobs in the end? I'd love to hear just a little bit more about those simulations. Okay, so originally this product was designed as a learning tool for people with disabilities. So for example, people who have sight loss, when they're talking to someone, they may not even make they won't even face the body towards another person. So this tool was designed to provide them information about their answers, their body posture, their eye contact, if they stutter a lot, if they say and another thing I want to mention is that the slide. So say, for example, someone who has autism, they would actually prefer to do an interview with a cartoon character rather than a real person. So we can make our simulations as cartoonish as we want, or as realistic as we want. So I think there's a lot of learning that can happen there. Great, Ali. Thank you so much for that example. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cara. I think we're on time, but Frank, if you have a quick question.
It's more of an observation, Ali. You mentioned that you're looking for 250 grand for validation. I would encourage you to flip that around, or 150,000 for next market. Really, you're creating technology already, but without talking to the people that are going to pay for it. So when you're making an ask, I would not do it for validation. We want to see it go to marketing and sales and expanding. So I would encourage you to have more validation, which encourages investors that you already spoken to the people that want to pay for the tech, right? So just something to consider.
I agree. So we have developed a lot of the technologies already. I just imagined we would have to like really dig into the companies and work with them and see how our tool can integrate with their existing hiring process. So that's why here I state that it's amenities for pilot testing, the RayOP platform. We want to be able to test this with very different companies. So that's,
Thank you, Ali. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for those amazing, wonderful presentations. You all did a really, really good job, and I'm excited to see the judges' scores. So while our judges compile their scores and lock them up, I next want to invite a friend, a mentor, and one of the biggest supporters of Access to Success, Tim Rose. Tim is the senior consultant for accessibility at CIBC and has been instrumental in helping us make ATS Labs happen. Tim, where are you? There he is.
I'm here. There we go. Hi, everybody. Sorry about that. Joys of technology. So thank you so much, Varun, for inviting me to speak at today's event. And I'd like to start off by congratulating all of the incredible pitches that I just listened to. As a entrepreneur with a disability myself, who believes that disability is the spark of innovation, it's so great to see that the community is building and that we're having these incredible pitches. So congratulations to everyone. And I'll keep my remarks fairly brief, but I'd just like to say, for myself as a person with a disability who was lucky enough to be born with cerebral palsy spastic quadriplegia, I've always believed that my disability is the biggest asset I bring to the table every day. Whether that's in life or in work, it makes me a better person. It makes me more creative. It makes me more connected, more empathetic. All of those buzzwords that we love in corporate Canada can be directly traced back to my disability. And one example that I'll give really quickly is that I'm a very confident public speaker. And it comes from the fact that when I was in school and it came time to do a class project, I was never going to be the one gluing the popsicle sticks to the other popsicle sticks. So I always got to be the guy that was nominated to be the presenter or the voice of any group I was in. And that's how I developed my public speaking skills. And so when we talk about disability as an asset, which we recognize at CIBC, the importance of building the disability community, those are the kind of things I'm talking about. And I'm so excited to be here today, to be presenting and speaking to all the incredible founders through ATS Labs. And CIBC as an organization is committed to investing in the disability community in a really innovative way. So thank you so much for having me, and best of luck to everybody.
Thank you, Tim. I have to just thank you on behalf of the ATS Labs team and all of the founders here for all of the work that you have done in helping us make this program come to fruition. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Frank, Cara, I did want to ask you, are your scores locked and loaded? Should we finalize them?
Ready to go.
Okay, while we fix up the announcement of our winners, I wanted to ask you, Frank, Cara, if you would like to share anything quickly about what you've seen here today.
I'm delighted to be here. I'm an angel investor and I see pitches all day long, but a lot of the cases, it's not very personal and they don't have a personal reason that inspires. So that's really what's very special for me to be here today. Varun, I also like to offer, as you know, I'm part of Angel Investors Ontario and the National Angel Capital Organization. Those are the angel groups for Canada and Ontario. I would love to talk with you, see what you're, talk a little bit further. And then I would love to introduce you to people for your business. And I'd like to introduce you to angels for funding if should you wish. So I'd love to be a mentor. I do this with other angel groups, innovation hubs across Canada. There's no cost, but it's all about getting investor ready so that you think like an angel for a greater success, okay? But that requires validation and customers and all that good stuff. So I'd be happy to do that, Varun, should you wish, and should the founders wish. And IRA is one of them already that I've been working with. So I did declare that conflict, but I score from what I see, unfortunately not from the people that I know, but I know I can help you. And if you allow me, I would love that opportunity to help you, to help our Canada with accessibility.
Thank you, Frank. I think if there's One thing the people here have learned through ATS Labs, it's to never decline help from somebody excited about this. So thank you. Kara, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, of course. And I think on that same note, I mean, connections and network is everything when you're building and trying to solve big problems like what we saw today. I just want to thank everybody for the time that you put into not just the demo day pitches, but into this whole program that you went through. And I just can't wait to connect with all of you after the event to hear more, because there's only so much you can say in 2 to 3 minutes, right? And I think that's sometimes what's so hard about asking questions is there's so many questions. What do you ask? How can I see a demo? Can I hold it? All those questions. And I'd love to connect with everyone on that afterwards.
Thank you, Kara. Okay, it's time. It's everything that the people that went through the program have been working towards for 3.5 months. So, Sydney, shall we do it? Shall we announce the winner of the $2,500 prize? All right, I'm not gonna do drum rolls here, but here we go. The winner of $2,500 is Parrots. David, congratulations. Come on up here.
Thank you so much. It was, thank you. Thank you. That's a great news. Thank you so much, all. Thank you for all your support. And we're really happy to be one of the winners. Thank you.
Fantastic. Now, the winner of the grand prize of $5,000 in cash grant is Imaginable Solutions. Liana, where are you?
Wow, thank you so much. I just want to say a huge thank you to Varun for creating this incredible program. I emailed him yesterday, or I guess this morning at like 12 in the morning, asking him some advice. And he is just always so supportive to all of the startup companies. And he's the reason why accessibility is becoming a more common word in Canada. And I'm so excited for the future. And again, thank you so much to the judges for their support and all of the other companies who I'm just so inspired by. And I just want us all keep in touch because we're all working towards such a massive impact. So thank you so much again.
Congratulations, David and Liana. This is brilliant. I'm very, very happy for you. And that brings us to the end of the main programming. Now we do have networking. So before we go to networking, I did want to take a moment to thank everybody involved with this program, all of the mentors who spared their weekend mornings to help out our founders, all of the judges who took time to attend this event, and most of all, to all of the amazing entrepreneurs who are doing this incredible work. Thank you, thank you, thank you for everything you're doing. I did want to say, by the way, as an organizer, I do want to acknowledge that I know a lot of people face some trouble getting into the program today. I know a lot of people couldn't actually join. So I did want to take a moment to apologize for the technical issues. We're still learning, we're still trying very hard, and we promise to do better. Now, for the networking session, what you can do is you should have your lobby window open. It's a Zoom window. If you look at it, it will show your lobby, and there you will be able to see a lot of different rooms or breakout rooms with the logos of the different startups. So founders, this is your cue to go join your breakout rooms, your lobbies, so you're ready for everybody. And members of the audience, if you would like to have a one-on-one discussion, if you would like to grill our founders with some more questions, go join them in their breakout rooms. You can do that by clicking join in their respective breakout room. Founders, get out of here so that you're ready for everyone. And thank you, everyone. We're going to be there as well in our own room. So I will see you there.